Well, I think the concept in itself of having a dual import duty system is already been tried out on motor vehicles, and that has been in place for a while. What is happening here is that the government has decided on a across-the-board basis to add 10% or introduce a 10% personal tax, whereas of course traders will be at the moment be paying zero, and the hope is that this will stimulate business in Gibraltar, and some of those savings will go to the consumer in Gibraltar and encourage more spending in Gibraltar. The problem is that some of the measures that have been introduced in terms of across the board, it means that things like books, where we don't have exactly a vast choice of bookshops in Gibraltar, so it's not exactly an industry that is crying out to be protected, and other things like medical supplies, pet food, other items, which it may be a more graduated approach may be appropriate. And if it's a case of assisting businesses, which this obviously is, although shop local is, of course, a laudable idea, and certainly one that I would personally support, the problem will be is where people find they don't have the choice or the availability in Gibraltar. So they will go and either order online or they will buy from outside Gibraltar and bring in. And then they will obviously suffer 10%, whereas previously it may have been 3% or zero.
But this is the type of measure which trade associations such as the GFSB and the Chamber have been calling for many years. And because local businesses have been suffering because of the lockdown, and obviously now that Spain has reopened its borders and people are able to shop in Spain, isn't it the right time to introduce this sort of package?
I agree with any measure that actually directly supports local businesses. But where, for example, there is no business in Gibraltar supplying particular items, we're not helping those businesses. All it turns into is it's another form of taxation.
But I suppose you could argue that this acts as an incentive for people to set up a business to stimulate the economy in areas where local services aren't being provided.
Well, look, I'd welcome to see more bookshops in Gibraltar, but I don't think 10% will swing it to bring new entrants into the market. Yeah? I think the government still has time to look at this and finesse it and fine-tune it. It was only announced yesterday. The devil is obviously always going to be in the detail. But I think the government needs to look a bit more carefully at exactly what businesses it's targeting and why, and what areas it's trying to protect. Because as we come back to the example of books, there is no book industry in Gibraltar of any significance to protect. So rather than tax the consumer and tax their choice of where they use their money, perhaps support the businesses more directly and target those taxes to where we know businesses on the high streets have a problem in.